but I for surely exposed corruption. I've been telling you all about how crooked Tillamook PD is since I got here. I've also recorded many witnesses who have gotten their drugs from the police department, some of them even telling me which officers gave them the drugs. And now, on the news, what do we get? Well, the sheriff was in the news 8 days ago. Why was the sheriff in the news? The sheriff was in the news because of evidence tampering in 64 of those cases. 64 of them. It's missing drugs. Where are those missing drugs going? They're being traded by the police to people to do favors for them. Some of these people are homeless people. Some of them are homeless people here that I know. Now, obviously, people don't want to listen to me. However, here's a few reasons why you should. It's not just here in Tillamook. I exposed the missing women of Hardin, Montana. It took the United States government over 2 years to finally come forward with the fact that that's the truth. That is a epicenter here in the United States for missing and murdered Indigenous people. The news finally come out with it a little over a year after I came forward about it. But, of course, you guys didn't want to listen to me. Just like here, you didn't want to listen to me. And why does it always come back to bite these communities in the ass? Because I tell the truth. Now, the Oregon State Patrol claimed to me that it is not their job to police the police. Same as Nebraska State Patrol pulled in Nebraska. But let's take a look at Sarah Nelson. I had to turn in sexual assaults into Sarah Nelson. She's now in prison for sexual assault. How about Michelle DeCini? What's Michelle DeCini sitting in prison for? Sexual assault. I told you. You didn't want to listen. You never do. Waylon Lolatai, after he assaulted me, guess what? He assaulted 7 more people on camera. All over the news. All of these things are verifiable on the news. You can verify Sarah Nelson of Lincoln, Nebraska. You can verify Michelle DeCini of Lincoln, Nebraska. You can verify Paulie Olson of Chapel, Nebraska. You can verify Waylon Lolatai, Boulder, Colorado. You can definitely check out Clearview of Johnstown, Colorado, as well as Johnstown Behavioral Health in Johnstown, Colorado. You can look these things up. These are all on the news. On the news. After I told you. I told you. Didn't I say I told you, son? I told you, son. I told you. Well, you want to claim that your town is the worst in the country. I'm here to tell you that the whole country is that bad, son. Cops are crooked everywhere. When you're homeless, oh yeah, you are an easy target. You are an at-risk adult simply because you're on the streets. It's illegal for you to pee. It's illegal for you to poop. In order to find a place where you can pee or poop legally, you have to walk for blocks and blocks, sometimes miles. Now, I told y'all what Boulder, Colorado was doing to the homeless, and you had to wait for the news to come out about it. Years afterwards. The same things I told you was happening, you wanted to pretend wasn't happening. And these people got big heads. Why did these officers get big heads? Because you let them do this to the homeless whenever the fuck they want. Unfortunately, once in a while they screw up, and the person whose rights they violate or the person whose life they take turns out to be somebody who actually lives in the house and people actually give a fuck about. Instead of the heavily ill bullshit with Samuel Leon Lawrence IV and Zaid Atkinson. It was, oh, poor them, they're black. What about the other minority victims of Officer Waylon Lolotai? How about the fact that Officer Waylon Lolotai, while being twice the size of both of those scrawny little nothings, Zaid Atkinson and Samuel Leon Lawrence IV, yeah, Waylon Lolotai is way darker than both of them, way bigger than both of them. Played football, college football, for the University of Hawaii and Colorado State University. He's a fucking bully. He's a fucking roid freak who's into violence and hurting people. And I fucking told you, you didn't want to fucking listen, did you? You never do. You didn't listen about Clearview and then they killed people. You didn't listen about Sarah Nelson. You didn't listen about Michelle DeCini. I wonder how long it's going to be until Officer June ends up with his ass in prison. You just didn't want to fucking listen, did you? You didn't want to listen about the situation at Sally Treon's. And what happened? Jeannie Gabb killed her son a year to the day after Natalie was killed. Fucking starved him to death. When I tell you that some place is fucking dangerous and that they're abusing children, you need to fucking listen, you pieces of shit. When I tell you that there's a little girl being fucking molested by her daddy, you need to fucking listen. Because chances are pretty fucking good that it was that little girlie or her mother who fucking let me know. So maybe we should get on this shit, huh? Oh no, but we can't do that. Somebody might get offended. A man who's been victimized speaking up. And of course, that means that I must be a woman hater who's taken away from the female cause and being a male oppressor because I spoke up about my abuse. Because I spoke up about abusers who happen to be women. And the men that they were able to convince to do horrible shit. You goddamn right I speak up. Anyway, I ain't got the money to go up the mountain again. My stuff's just gonna have to get rained on, and I'm gonna have to worry that it might get stolen. There's also the fact that although I thought I carried 7 bags of garbage into town with me, I only brought in 3. That means there's 4 very conspicuous bags of garbage that are gonna make people want to look at those bags of garbage. There's also the fact that somebody else dumped a shit ton of trash into a big pile up there. And I brought down a couple of piles of that trash. My camp up there is illegal, and I know it. I don't keep cleaning up other people's messes just to hide my camp, though. I actually give a shit about the planet I live on. I actually give a shit about the fact that my niece, her offspring, are going to be here long after I'm gone. It ain't just my planet. And I don't get to live here forever. If we're super lucky, like the top 1 in 1,000, we may live to 110 years old. But most of us aren't going to. We can't be here for all eternity to make sure that our offspring are safe. The best we can do is make sure that we don't waste maximum of 110 years that we possibly have. Most of y'all should be looking at about 45 as your maximum age. Chances are pretty good that you're going to die of something by the time you're 45. You might survive long enough to be 65. You'll die of old age or quote-unquote natural causes after 65. Common. The cops here broke a lot of laws. At least one of them was allowed to retire, so I couldn't turn him in. I'll have to deal with the playing stupid treatment. By the way, the 2 officers you need to look out for the most are Loftman and Timothy Sadler. They've pretty much all done fucked up shit to me, and all taken part in illegal activities. But you gotta look out for Sadler and Loftman. Loftman likes to sexually harass and exploit homeless women. And I'll be goddamned if I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut about that. Ray is the sheriff. Now, I gotta try to get a hold of the sheriff to turn in his officers. Hard to do that when he goes on leave and stays on leave. It's also hard to do that alone. I better not eat any more of this string cheese I got on sale, because I won't be able to poop for a week. You're welcome for sharing. Moral of the story, maybe you should fucking start listening to me at some goddamn point. A lot of people tell me I'm red flagged by the FBI. I've got to be red flagged by the FBI. Fuck, I've been trying to get red flagged by the FBI. Of course, by now, if they had me red flagged, they probably got me blue flagged for something now. Like, holy shit, he was right about Paulie Olson. Right about Michelle Decini. Right about Michelle Quinn. Right about Sarah Nelson. Yeah, I told you, just because somebody's nice doesn't mean they ain't crooked. I was right about Scott DaCosta. But you still don't want to hear that. One of the Nebraska State Patrol Troop E officers turned out to be a pedophile. He was in the news too. I exposed Waylon Lolatai. He was in the news. I exposed Clearview. They was in the news. I exposed a lot of motherfuckers. I exposed Ted Bollinger. He was in the news. And Alicia Bollinger, she was in the news. I told the truth about these situations. And the news verified much of it. However, I also know that the news doesn't always tell the truth. Sometimes they like to mislead a story to see who will bite. On the bright side, I told the truth about Hardin, Montana, now didn't I? I told the truth about Whalen Lolotai, didn't I? On the bright side, I'm a mean son of a bitch. The cops here been trying to blackball me since I got here. I could just get more and more brazen and more bold. Because I take a lot of abuse at the hands of cowards like the Tillamook Police Department.